Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at ntnm.org. All our shows are on YouTube. We're real big on community policing. I wish the Chicago Police Department was big on community policing as we are, but that's a whole different story. Judicial season. And this is really interesting. My next guest is presently a sitting judge appointed to the vacancy of Judge Jim Epstein, who won for appellate, who's one of my favorite judges in the entire world. And she was in her race last time. She had the highest qualifications of anybody running for that judicial office. And in Jewish Chicago, I believe my comment off the top of my head was that you'd make a very good judge.
Thank you.
So, well, apparently you are.
I am.
So anyway, this is Judge Mary Trew. How are you?
Hi, Albie. How are you doing?
Pleasure.
Pleasure to be back.
Thank you
for having me.
So you've been appointed, which has got to be great.
I was appointed last November 22nd of 2010 after trying for 12 years. So it was a milestone and a wonderful day. And since then, I have had the privilege of being a Cook County Circuit Court judge, which is a fabulous job. And I agree with you completely about Judge Epstein, by the way.
Great guy.
Yes.
Oh, and speaking of, you're right next door too to another guy that is a judge that I happen to like,
Yes.
Judge Michael Bender down at the Civic Center.
He's my colleague. We are both assigned to a specialized court called Parentage Court, which is a division within a division. We are both assigned to the Domestic Relations Division, which our presiding judge is Grace Dickler. I don't know if you know her.
No, I'm not familiar with her.
But within that division, there's a specialized court called Parentage Court and Expedited Child Support. And there's 5 of us there. There's 5 judges, and we hear all the cases involving unmarried parents. So we adjudicate child support, custody, and visitation.
Very good.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're enjoying this.
It's great. Like I said, it's a privilege. My career, rather lengthy career, I'm sorry to say, 30 years, has been in the public interest with the ultimate goal that I wanted to serve as a judge, and I've reached that goal. How many people get to say that? It's just fantastic.
Very unusual in life, very unusual.
And one thing I was worried about was, if I do get to become a judge, what if I don't like it? After all these years of trying,
wow.
And but I'm here to tell you I love it. It's great. It is fabulous.
That's cool.
It's a real privilege.
You want to tell us a little bit about your legal career?
Well, my legal career has been, as I said, in the public interest. I had a pretty significant role to play in providing legal services to the poor in Cook County. For many years, I was the executive director of an agency called Domestic Violence Legal Clinic, and we provided family law services to victims of domestic violence. And I helped create and implement one of the nation's first civil court clinics for orders of protection in conjunction with the circuit court. At the same time, the circuit court was creating this new domestic violence court. I guess it's not as new anymore, but it kicked off in September of 2005. And I was appointed by Judge Evans to a committee to further study what was needed to address these issues with respect to domestic violence victims. And one of the recommendations that we came up with, among others, was to create a new division called the Domestic Violence Division, which he signed an order Judge Evans signed an order last year creating that new division. And the presiding judge of that new division is Judge Sebastian Patty. You might know him.
Oh, I had him on. Yeah, he's a very delightful guy.
Yes, he's terrific.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah. So it's interesting, all the different changes, and Judge Evans is great because he doesn't just appoint a committee and then disregard the recommendations the committee makes. He acts on them and implements the recommendations, and hopefully for the better.
No, that sounds good. And I didn't really run into him very. I actually got to serve on a jury a couple of years ago, which was a very interesting experience.
I bet.
And I've been there before. I never got picked, but it gave me a different perspective of how things worked. And actually, I was it gave me a lot more respect for the way things are done in certain ways.
Yeah.
I never understood certain things.
Right.
I would assume, though, that in your division, are there jury trials? Or is
No,
it...
there are no jury trials. No jury trials, just judge trials.
No, that would make sense because you wouldn't want to necessarily leave things up to a popular chance. You'd want to make sure that things would be... well, first of all, I shouldn't say that because I don't even know exactly what... I've never
Well,
been
in
into
domestic
court.
relations, they're just by statute, there's no jury trials.
No.
It's all heard by judges.
Okay.
When I first became a judge, like everyone else, like all the rookies, we trained in traffic court. So I wasn't around long enough to do a jury trial there for the misdemeanor courtrooms, but I almost wish I had been because I was kind of excited about it. But it was, it was great. It was really great training. In my beginning of my career, I was a public defender, but that was back in Detroit, Michigan. So I was back kind of in my original element with criminal law, so that was kind of exciting for a brief period of time.
You were Rogers Parker, or?
I am.
And formerly from Evanston, if I remember correctly.
No, I never lived in Evanston.
Oh, okay.
I just like Evanston a lot.
Okay. I used to have my office there.
Did you?
Yeah, I like Evanston too.
It's a terrific place. I'm formerly from Detroit, but I moved to Chicago more than 20 years ago.
Yeah. And to get it, I mean, the process of getting appointed. I mean, did they call on you? Do you have to lobby for that sort of thing?
Well, a little of both. I mean, I was a merit appointment in that I didn't have a lot of political clout. In fact, I didn't know Judge Ann Burke that well, and she didn't know me. She was the justice that recommended my appointment, and what she has is a blue ribbon committee that you have to appear before, and that committee found me well qualified. And it just happened that I appeared before that committee in September, and in, I think, either October or early, I guess it was October, Judge Epstein decided to retire from his position before he was elevated to the appellate court. And so therefore I indicated my interest in seeking appointment to that seat, and the committee had reviewed me and made the rating available to the Supreme Court. Justice Burke called me in, and it happened from there.
Very cool. And by the way, I do remember, yeah, you're not that, you know, a lot of people, some judges come here, they're super political connected. I know from, I know that you're not a politician.
No.
And matter of fact, if I remember correctly too, you've got 4 highly qualified or highly recommended from bar associations, which was more than anybody else that was in your race last time around.
Right. Thank you for saying that. That's very nice. And I'm very pleased to get those.
No, they're unusual, and not that many people get them, that's for sure.
Thank you.
So anyway, hey, we got a long way to the election. We
do.
So
we've got a lot of work to do, and believe me, I'm going to work very hard to keep this seat because, as I said, it's a terrific job, and it is indeed a privilege. I don't know that I've ever skipped to work, but I kind of do every morning.
It's great if you enjoy something like that.
It really is. It makes a big difference. A big difference.
Yeah. Do you have a website, or?
Yes, it isn't updated yet, but it's up. www.votetrew.com, and Trew is spelled T-R-E-W.
T-R-E-W. Judge Mary Trew, running for not exactly re-election, but she's running for the slot she has right now, which is the Epstein vacancy in the 9th Subcircuit. Petitions are still going on, so there's plenty. We're going to be doing a lot more, not just on this race, but so many other races, and we hope you'll come back again before the election.
Oh, I certainly will.
Thank you so much, and I want to thank you very much, Judge Trew.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations, my pleasure. Great handshake. And I want to thank you very much. I want to thank you. I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hirsch. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and make sure you stay tuned in future weeks. All the best. Bye-bye.